Tonight, the Super Soul Sessions two-part event begins with superstar thought leaders.
Hello, Super Soulers!
With Oprah, Shaka Senghor, Marie Forleo, Cheryl Stray, Caroline Mace, Amanda Stenberg, Chris Carr, India.Arie, Dr. Shefali Tsabary, Eckhart Tolle, and Kerry Washington.
I know that I'm enough.
You need to break that shell and let life touch you. It is my life's calling to raise consciousness.
Now, from Royce Hall at UCLA.
Hello, Super Soulers! Hello, hello! Hello, hello! Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Super Soul Sessions 2. It's my heart's desire, actually, fulfilled, to be able to bring this many like-minded souls and super soulers to have conversations that matter. Aren't we something? So I'm scheduled to talk about shedding the weight to a better life. I'm just in the middle of doing that, so I cannot tell you the countless hours and the enormous amount of wasted energy I have spent wanting my thighs to be a different size. And anybody else who's with me now, just the hours and the time and the energy you have spent, the time I have given to wanting my arms not to flap, wanting my belly flat, wanting something different than what I have, wanting something different than who I am. And all that I have and all that I've achieved, still wanting something different than what I have. So July of last year was a turning point for me because I had been hiking in Maui. I have a ranch there, and I was hiking and I sprained an ankle, and spraining an ankle was license to eat. Because I have sprained my ankle, so Jesus does not want me to work out. He wants me to enjoy myself with my foot up. So, entertaining friends, breakfast, lunch, dinner, cocktails on the porch, because we have to watch sunset in Maui. I was really at a point, having gained 17 pounds from where I was already dieting every week. I was ready to throw in the towel of trying and failing on yet another no-carb, high-protein green drink cabbage soup. Antioxidant, gluten-free, lots of vegetables, no fruit, just blueberries, low fat, no energy. Butter in my coffee, cayenne pepper with ginger, super cleanse, high maintenance diet. I was ready to throw in the towel. So I was going through that. Yet I'm gonna start a cleanse on Monday when Weight Watchers called. And it felt truly like an intervention from on high because I was ready. I was ready to stop the foolishness. I was ready to stop the craziness. I was ready to stop the cravings always for a little bit more, not just in food, but a little bit more, to do a little bit more, to prove a little bit more, to conquer a little bit more, to conquer the next thing. So after Weight Watchers called, I said, whoa, that's big. Weight Watchers called me. They must really know I have a problem. They didn't wait for me to call them. They go, we're gonna call you up and help you out, girl. So Weight Watchers call, and I always look for the meaning behind the meaning. So I tried to take stock of that call. And in the midst of taking stock of that call, I also wanted to take stock of where I've been and why I'm still in this battle, am I in this struggle for weight, I took a good long look at myself, of what I've done. I took a look at myself in a full-length mirror, from the top of my ponytail head down to my bunioned feet, inherited from my father. I just stood there, naked in the mirror, and said, how did I get here? And started looking at myself, not just my body form, but looking into the eye of myself, into the third eye of myself. I got real still looking into the eyes of myself. And I started, just whispered came out of me, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All these years I've been so critical, so judgmental of this body that has carried me 62 years. Thank you.
Next, more of Oprah's personal session on shedding the weight.
Gonna be a good dinner.
Plus, the super soul spiritual genius of Eckhart Tolle.
You're not dreaming this.
And later, super soul parenting expert, Dr. Shefali Tsabary.
You were that child.
I made a decision in my mind in August to end my lifelong struggle with weight. Weight Watchers is the tool that I use for accountability and counting points. It's a tool. So I get 30 points a day. I have 18 left. Gonna be a good dinner. Means I can have some wine, 4 points. It's the tool that I use, but the decision was mine. The decision to shed the weight to a better life is mine. And we all know what happens when you make a decision. Goethe says this, that until one is committed, there is hesitancy. I love this quote. The chance to draw back. Until you're committed, there's always this moment where you can turn around and go the other way. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, he says, there is one elementary truth, that ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor, he says, all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream, you can do it. Begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. I love that quote. Paulo Coelho, who wrote one of my favorite books, The Alchemist, says it even more simply. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. That's what happens when you make the decision to commit. So, this is what's different about this time for me. It's not about a diet. It's not even about the points, even though I like the points. I play it like a game. I started with a commitment to see things differently in my mind. I shifted the way I saw the weight. First of all, I started out with gratitude and thanking it and blessing it and saying, you can go now. But I bless you. I bless you. I bless you for what you've been able to do to keep me standing. I started out with a desire to shift the way I saw things, and then shift the way I perceived being in presence and with spirit, and then ordered my body to follow. I started blessing and thanking my body for carrying me all these years, for taking the abuse and the burden of extra weight. Can you imagine? Your heart's just pumping, 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 and still holding me up. Thanking this vessel of the Spirit for never, ever letting me down, in spite of my poor judgments about myself, in spite of failed promises, you know. I'm going to lose the weight starting next Monday. How many people had Mondays? And then after Labor Day, going to start, no, after Thanksgiving. No, you got to get through Thanksgiving. Then, well, Thanksgiving, you might as well just get through the holidays. And first of the year, I'm going to do it first of the year. January 17th, I got that event. So, okay, I got to get through that. Got to retreat with the staff. And then I got David's party. And then I got spring break. And then I got to go on vacation. Vacation, well, you can't do it on vacation. And on and on and on. And I realized that if you're living, there's going to always be some occasion and some excuse to overeat. And anyone who struggled with weight, like I have, you've lied to yourself about as many times as I have. Told yourself a bunch of stories. Now, lying is bad. We know lying is bad. I disdain lying. I disdain it in other people. I abhor it. I don't trust liars. And lying to yourself is the worst, because the same thing happens when you lie to yourself that happens when other people lie to you. You know, someone can lie to you once or twice and maybe get away with it, but lie to someone once or twice and see if they continue to believe or trust you. Lie to yourself every Monday, and then see who you believe. I did that for so long, I convinced myself that the problem is Mondays. That's the problem. I should not do this on a Monday anymore. I'm going to move to Tuesday. On close examination, I realized the real problem was my using food to repress my feelings. Any feeling of discomfort, any feeling of the slightest bit of agitation that would mean possible confrontation, possible rejection, anyone being upset with me in any way would cause me to eat. Now, I know where that stems from because I did the Oprah show all those years.
Go to supersoul.tv for the weight loss lesson Oprah learned from her own show and to see the rest of her session, Shedding the Weight to a Better Life. Next session, 4-time Grammy Award-winning super souler Indie.Arie performs.
Until you break the shell.
Plus, a session from the man who wrote one of Oprah's all-time favorite books, Eckhart Tolle.
Have to go deeper.
She wrote a lyric that really resonated with me. She wrote, "I learned to love myself unconditionally because I am a queen." She knew that at 24. I don't know about you, but I did not know that at 24. So India has been on the path of self-discovery, loving herself through music. She's created a new word to describe what she loves to do now. She calls it Songversation. And she's here with a session she calls Songversation Worthy, Indie.Arie.
I'm not the mistakes that I have made or any of the
Indie.Arie is a multi-platinum, 4-time Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, poet, actress, and record producer.
I left behind.
This is my favorite show on TV.
She's also a fellow super solar.
There's nothing like it on television.
On India's empowering site, soulbird.com, you can find her poetry, her video journal, and, of course, her music. Welcome to Super Soul Sessions, Indie.Arie.
Thank you. Good afternoon. How beautiful is this? Oprah said my name. I swear this is how I feel. So, welcome to Songversation. I released my first album, Acoustic Soul, in 2001. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Those albums mean a lot to me. It's been everything. It's been my life's work. I released my second album, Voyage to India, in 2002. Thank you. Thank you. And I toured and traveled and had many successes, but at the same time, profound defeat. So after Voyage to India, I took a break for several years, and I came back in 2006 with my third album, Testimony Volume 1, Life and Relationship. Thank you. And that album debuted #1 on the Billboard chart. It was the first time that had ever happened for me. But then, while on tour with that album, I had a spiritual breakdown that ended up being my unexpected spiritual breakthrough. And so this breakdown started in the dressing room before a concert, and my business team was trying to convince me to do something that would have been good for my career, but I just didn't have the time to fit it in between the tour and everything else that was going on. I didn't have the time. So they were calling and talking about it and pressuring me up to the minute I took stage. And I went out on stage and I gave everything, because that's what we do when we get up here. We give everything. And then I got back to my dressing room after the show, and it all started up again. The calls and the pressuring and the talking at me, and I snapped. It was as if my body and my soul had to separate from my personality so that my soul could say no. And I remember screaming, I was breaking things, and I ran down this stairwell, many, many flights of steps, don't even remember how many now. And I got to the bottom of the steps, and I kicked this door open, and there were fans out there waiting to greet me. And I snapped too. And I walked back up the steps, and I was just stunned because I didn't know what had just happened. And I collapsed on the floor crying, and my whole band surrounded me, and everybody was just really confused. And so I went home for 2 days, and I rested, and then I went back out on the road to complete the tour. And when I got back out there, no one asked me what was wrong. No one said, maybe you need to take a break, or you need to go take care of yourself. They just reminded me of my schedule and my obligations. And I was miserable. I was raw. And when the tour ended, I withdrew from everything completely. I self-medicated with isolation, which became my drug of choice. And I came off the tour, and I stayed in the house for 30 days or more. Literally 30 days. No front porch, no back porch, literally in the house for a month. And when I finally did travel again, it was to go to the opening of Oprah School in South Africa. So this is December of 2007, and we rang in the new year there in South Africa. While I was there, I had so many really important conversations. You can imagine the kind of people who were there. But the most impactful conversation I had was with the force of nature that is Cicely Tyson. So we're there in South Africa. It's January 2nd, 2008. And I can't tell you everything she said because we just don't have time. But at the end of the conversation, she hit me on my arm and said, "You need to break that shell and let life touch you." So I wrote this. I met a prophet, dark as the night. She could see into my soul, said she'd been watching and had some advice. She said shadows make you whole. A life without pain is a wolf in sheep's clothes. But if you listen to the lessons that it holds, there you'll find the gold. Child, it's time to break the shell. Life's gonna hurt, but it's meant to be felt. You cannot touch the sky from inside yourself. You cannot fly until you break the shell. Thank you. Thank you.
Go to supersoul.tv for the soul-stirring song born from India's most moving life lesson, and to see the rest of her session, Songversation worthy. Next session, Super Soul entrepreneur Marie Forleo on how everything in life is figureoutable.
By what you believe.
Plus, he's called a spiritual rock star, Eckhart Tolle.
Is life a dream?
Marie Forleo is a leader in a whole new generation of super solars. And at age 33, she launched what became a multi-million-dollar life coaching business. Millions of young women look to Marie as their inspiration for empowerment and also achievement. The title for Marie's session is Everything is Figureoutable. In her early 20s, Marie Forleo says a deeper spiritual calling made her walk away from corporate America. Today, Marie Forleo International is a multi-million-dollar, socially conscious life coaching business.
Welcome to Marie TV.
While nearly 20 million viewers sign on to her YouTube channel for her web series, Marie TV. When we spoke on Super Soul Sunday, Marie was excited about what she calls a new generation of spiritual practitioners.
I try and bring a sense of deeper meaning and purpose and reverence to everything that I do.
Welcome to Super Soul Sessions, Marie Forleo.
Hello, Super Solars! It is so good to be here with you. So I want to tell you about a time a few years ago. It was a really rough time. Business was going great, but my relationship with Josh, my beloved, was on the rocks. So much so that we found ourselves in couples therapy. Now, let's be honest, because we're all friends here, right? Generally speaking, you don't do couples therapy unless it's serious, which in our case, it was. So the issue on the table? How much time I spend working. So here I was, feeling scared and conflicted and heartbroken because from my point of view, this one thing I love, my work, was causing me to lose this man that I love. So Josh is an actor, and all this was going down when he was in the middle of filming a movie. I, of course, was in the middle of all my own work projects, and it was a few weeks before his birthday. So I got this idea. What if, for his birthday, we went on an actual vacation? Like a real vacation. Radical concept, I know. So I took a look at our calendars, and I realized there was only one 4-day window of time that this vacation could happen, that it needed to happen. So I go online, and I do a little research, and I book us a trip to Barcelona. Barcelona is someplace that Josh had talked about going for years, like 7 of them. So, as typical, the day of the trip comes, and I have some coaching calls that go right up until the very minute that we are supposed to leave for the airport. Now, based on my calculations, we would get to the airport and have about an hour and 45 minutes to spare. Not ideal. I always like to be on time, but I knew it could work. So I get done with those coaching calls, we hop in the car, and we head straight to JFK. And as it always happens, when you're just a little bit tight on time, we hit some mega traffic. I am starting to sweat, but we got there. So we get out of the car real fast, passports in hand, dragging up our luggage right up to that counter. I hand over the passports and I say, "Hi there, we're here to check in for the 5:45 to Barcelona, please. We're going on vacation." The woman takes our passports, she starts clicking away at her computer, scrunches up her face, looks at her watch, calls her colleagues over, points at the screen, looks at her watch and says, "I'm sorry, Miss Forleo, but there's no way you're making it on the 5:45. You've missed the deadline to check your bags." What? What are you talking about? It's only 4:55. The plane hasn't left yet. I'm sorry, it's just not possible. You missed the deadline to check your bags. And unfortunately, I can't even rebook you on tomorrow night's flight because that's completely full. But what I can do is rebook you on 2 days from now. 2 days? No. We don't have 2 days. Please, we have to get on that flight tonight. Isn't there something you can do? The plane hasn't even left yet. Miss Forleo, I'm sorry, there's really nothing I can do. You missed the deadline to check your bags. For international flights, you must check your bags at least 1 full hour before departure, and your flight's been changed. So now it's leaving from a whole other terminal. I am really sorry, but you're not going to make it. Time froze, and my heart sank, and I could feel the tears welling up in my eyes. Because those words, "You're not going to make it," for me, that was about a lot more than just the flight. And I looked over, and I looked at the disappointment in Josh's face, not about the trip, but really about us. And it was in that moment that I remembered something this tiny but mighty woman taught me years before.
Go to supersoul.tv to find out those words of wisdom and the rest of Marie Forleo's session, Everything is Figureoutable. Next session, Eckhart Tolle on the awakening of consciousness.
It's true on this level, but not on a deeper level.
And Oprah calls her revolutionary. Parenting expert Dr. Shefali Tsabary.
But then something happened.
He is the rock star of the spiritual movement. He is a rock star. Eckhart Tolle is the person who embodies and is literally walking presence. So when I first read Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth, everybody, of course, had read The Power of Now, and I read A New Earth. New Earth, life-changing, I would have to say. Central, most important book I ever read. I mean, if you never read if you only want to read one book in your life, I would say A New Earth is it. So he calls his session The Awakening of Consciousness. Now that's it. That's what we're here to do. The Awakening of Consciousness from the rock star himself, Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle says a deep depression in his late 20s triggered a simple but transformative idea. We are not our thoughts. This theory led him to a spiritual epiphany and inner transformation. Since then, Eckhart Tolle has been illuminating, enlightening, and uplifting the world with his message of evolved consciousness. In 2008, Eckhart and I embarked on a 10-part live streaming web series based on his second best-selling book, one of my favorite books of all time, A New Earth.
Be aware of what your mind is saying.
The series sparked a global response and has been downloaded more than 30 million times.
I loved it so much I wrote, wow.
Welcome to Super Soul Sessions, Eckhart Tolle.
Nice to be here, and now, as you can see, this speaker must be really dynamic. They had to bring out a chair for him. A few days ago, a question that Oprah likes to ask came to mind. I'm sure you've heard it. And the question is, what do you know for sure? What do I know for sure? She asked me that question a few years ago. I don't remember what the answer was because it came out of the present moment. But it's a very interesting question. It can take you to a very deep level, as it can be answered on many levels, and what may be true on one level may not be true on a deeper level. I prefer the word deeper to higher, because higher kind of takes you out of yourself, deeper takes you more deeply within. So an example, I could say, what do I know for sure? I know for sure that I'm sitting on a chair. That's the most surface level of things. I know for sure that this is a table. And of course, on one level, that is true. If you take it to a deeper level, if you really looked at this atomic and subatomic structure of this thing that I call chair and that I call table, then you would realize maybe it's not a table. On that level, it's not a table. It's atoms and molecules and 99% empty space in between. So it's no longer a table. It's true on this level, but not on a deeper level. And so you can go to many. I can say, what do I know? I know for sure that my books have changed the lives of millions of people because people keep telling me that. I assume they are honest. And that's true on one level, but if you take it to a deeper level, are they my books? Who am I? Where did these books come from? Am I the consciousness out of which these books came? I? What level of I? So you can then deeper and deeper, where it's not me, the person who wrote the books, it's the consciousness that used this so-called person as an instrument and used the mind. So you can go deeper and deeper, and so as I was pondering this, I finally arrived at the deepest answer that you cannot doubt. What do I know for sure? What do I know for sure? And if you go to the deepest level, because everything else can be questioned, including whether us sitting here is actually absolutely real. It seems to be, but on the other hand, tomorrow you might wake up and for a moment you might not know, did I dream yesterday what happened, that this wonderful spiritual gathering, or did that actually happen? Or when you're on your deathbed, you remember many things, and they suddenly, your life seems to have a dreamlike quality, because things evaporate very quickly. Things arise, situations, and it's gone. There are many dreamlike qualities to a person's life. And many philosophers have questioned. They said, is life a dream? On some level, one could say that it is. Nobody can prove that this event here, you sitting here, listening to this man on the chair, that you are not dreaming this. You could be. Or the one consciousness is dreaming it. This is possible. Nobody can prove otherwise. So I cannot know for sure yet that we are actually here. So it means you have to go deeper. If I can't be sure that this is actually happening, what can I be sure of? It's maybe a dream.
Go to supersoul.tv to find out the one thing Eckhart Tolle knows for sure, and to see the rest of his session, The Awakening of Consciousness. Next session, Dr. Shefali Tsabary's revolutionary message for parents.
You had it once. Do you know that?
I am thrilled I get to do this for you, because you are about to hear from a parenting expert who is, in the 30 years that I've been doing interviews, the best I've ever heard. She's absolutely revolutionary and so evolved that her ideas are really a paradigm shift that can change the world. Imagine if there were conscious parents who created awakened families. Now that would be a breakthrough. Her name is Dr. Shefali Tsabary. And her session today is called The Awakened Self. Dr. Shefali Tsabary. Dr. Shefali Tsabary combined Eastern and Western beliefs to create a profound new approach to parenting.
The time has come for us to change the parenting paradigm.
She was a super soul sensation for families around the world.
I love this quote. When you parent, it's crucial you realize you aren't raising a mini me, but a spirit throbbing with its own signature. Wow, that's a wower.
Dr. Shefali's fourth book is The Awakened Family. Welcome to Super Soul Sessions, Dr. Shefali Tsabary.
We awaken when we become who we truly are. Each one of you here today answered the call to go deep within yourself to enter your highest expression. Did you not? You came here today to reclaim your lost self. Each one of us is searching, yearning for that special something. Call it awe, call it meaning, purpose, transcendence, presence, unbearable lightness of being. We want nothing more than to feel the deepest connection within ourselves and with others, to touch upon the wonder and abundance that we know is our sovereign right, to rediscover who we once were, to reclaim the purpose for why we were born. This is why we are here today, yes? But here is the grand irony, the great paradox of life. What you are here to reclaim, you know, you had it once. Do you know that? Here that you're seeking and searching for what that special something is, you had it once. You had it as that child who knew its might, who had wonder, grace, presence, beauty, worth, significance. That child who was able to stop by every leaf and every petal and stare at it with rapt attention, full of monk-like present moment awareness. You were that child who could look at its reflection in the mirror and only see beauty, power, and perfection. You were that child to whom it never once occurred that they were lesser than. Not once did that thought shoot through your mind that you had to become something to be happy, that you had to do something to prove your worthiness. You were that child who was complete, whole, significant, purposeful, connected, present. You were that child. But then something happened. The adults in your life happened. Your parents happened. Culture happened. And before you knew it, unwittingly, off you went on the conveyor belt of this system we call childhood, where sadly you were fed a daily diet of obedience, compliance, how to be. You were told you are lesser than and you have to become, do, accomplish, fit in, belong, accommodate, please. In other words, shed who you authentically are. And slowly, imperceptibly sometimes, but surely, layer by layer, who you essentially were was stripped off from you. Piece by piece, your selfhood was slivered into pieces, left strewn on the sidewalk of your childhood. But you, obedient, naive, so innocent, you trusted. You see, we trust our parents. We had no choice in order to fit in to a system that made no space to recognize who we were. So I am here today to make a case against parenting.
Go to supersoul.tv to learn how parents can awaken their children to be the most of who they are. And for the rest of Dr. Shefali's session, The Awakened Self. On the next Super Soul Sessions, best-selling wild author Cheryl Strayed,
Don't let your dreams ruin your life.
film star and teen activist Amanda Stenberg,
Authenticity is our strength.
prison reformer and best-selling author Shaka Senghor,
Forgiveness is a process.
crazy, sexy cancers Chris Carr,
Give yourself permission to live like you really, really mean it.
medical intuitive Caroline Mace,
The fire starts burning right through here,
and a Super Soul sit-down with Scandal star Kerry Washington.
I stopped trying to fix myself and just started showing up for life. Thank you, God.
You can also go to supersoul.tv to view all the Super Soul sessions on any device.
Super Soul is the embodiment of the collective, intelligent, universal energy.
You could feel the love in the room, and you could feel the excitement and really the hunger for connection.
My personal soul story is a narrative that comes out of my wounding. Like, I think that's where you find where you can be most effective in life. Like, where you've been hurt, help people who've been hurt like you.
The purpose of my soul story is to facilitate the spiritual awakening on the planet.